start for the Rays. Right-hander is 5-0 over his last 5 postseason starts. Taking on Walker Buehler, who's been lethal in the playoffs.
Is that your baseball voice?
No, I don't have a baseball voice. I got hit in the nose when I was young. Long story. 2.44 ERA in his postseason career. So let's go Dodgers. Let's get back to Carson Wentz, who led the Eagles to their second win of the season last night with 3 total touchdowns, including the go-ahead touchdown pass with under a minute left in the fourth quarter. After the game, Wentz called the win a, quote, sigh of relief. So, Acho, what is your biggest takeaway from the Eagles' win?
I got several takeaways, Marcellus.
He said your biggest. He didn't say...
Sorry, when the Eagles win, I got to give you takeaways because people like you were too hard-headed to really understand what happened during the course of the game. Okay. My biggest takeaway then was this.
Okay.
Number one, Carson Wentz still got the juice. He definitely, yes. People were underestimating Carson Wentz and had been. Marcellus, all he did was on a primetime stage when everybody like you were doubting him, go out and throw for 360 yards. And more than anything, he threw a game-winning pass to a 5'6" running back who was being guarded by a 6'1" safety. Boston Scott, the running back, had no opportunity to drop the ball. The ball caught Boston Scott. Boston Scott didn't even have to catch the ball. It was a thing of beauty. Oh, my God. Number two, Doug Peterson still got the juice. And the juice from Concentrate, Marcellus. You know, when I was a kid, you can buy the Simply Orange juice. Yes. Already comes in a big joint. Oh, or you can buy the 8-ounce Concentrate one that you freeze. Because you got to put it in water, and you got to stir it and stir it and stir it. Doug Peterson still got the juice from Concentrate. Why do I say that? The difference in the game wasn't actually Carson Wentz, no matter how much I profess and act like it was. The difference in the game were 2 penalties by 1 player on the New York Giants.
Yes.
The biggest penalty, the late hit on Deshaun Jackson. Moved the ball from the Eagles 14 to the Eagles 29. That difference in field position, I would argue, was the difference in the ball game. Doug Peterson had the more disciplined team. My third takeaway, sir, before I hand you the baton to probably drop it, is the Eagles team is as resilient as ever. Going into last game, not the Giants game, we were like, man, injuries are depleted. You're on your 3rd string left tackle. You're on your 2nd string right tackle, your 2nd string right guard, your 2nd string left guard. You're on your 3rd string tight end. You're on your 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th string receivers. Okay, but relief is coming. Even though Ertz is hurt, Miles Sanders is hurt, you're going to get back Deshaun Jackson and Lane Johnson, but they got hurt. This Eagles team is the same resilient team that last year had to win 4 in a row to go to the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Same resilient team that lost starting quarterback, Hall of Fame left tackle, starting running back, starting linebacker, starting Pro Bowl special teams player the year they won the Super Bowl. Not as talented, obviously, is not what I'm saying, but they're just as resilient. So what are my takeaways? I don't have a biggest takeaway. When you see a lot of good things, Marcellus, you got to speak a lot of good things. Those are my 3 takeaways. Carson got the juice. Doug Peterson got the juice. Eagles are still resilient. You, sir.
Okay.
What'd you learn?
Me?
What'd you learn?
I know you're expecting an on defense right now because you think I'm going to take some shots, and I'm not.
No shots.
This is a team that fights. As coaches would say, this team has high character. Low talent, but high character. Fair. No, in all seriousness, I like the fact that this team is going to give you 4 quarters worth. You know you're going to be in a fight if you go against the Philadelphia Eagles that we saw last night, and we even seen the last 3 weeks. Let's just be real about that. But here's the problem. When we talk about this team of character and we talk about its leader in Carson Wentz, he's going to lead the fight. But he's also going to be the one that says, let's jump in this ditch that I created.
That's fair.
And then I'm going to be the one that leads us out this ditch.
I can't knock that.
And then say, hip, hip, look at me. And I'm like, can we skip that middle step, that middle part where we dig ourselves a hole and got to climb out of it? I don't like that. Carson Wentz, to me, doesn't seem calculated. There's no method to his madness. Okay. And I hear people out there comparing him to like Brett Favre light, broke Brett Favre, poor man's version of Brett Favre. But Brett Favre in terms of gunslinger, you know, makes it happen, draws it up in the dirt, whatever you want to say, has that moxie. And here's the thing, when I look at Brett Favre, even when I saw him in error, when I saw him failing, I saw someone who seemed calculated. Not uncalculated. It seems like there are times during a game where you're looking at Carson Wentz literally like number 2 overall. He should have been a number 1 overall. That's an amazing pass, the last pass for a touchdown. And then there are times when you look at him and be like, they drafted him after Sam Bradford to get the same thing they got with Sam Bradford. It's amazing. But, Acho, do not ever come on this show and not keep it 100. You talking about they still got the juice.
Got the juice.
They got the juice, a gallon, quart. Right?
Maybe they got a cup.
Tablespoon?
A cup. They got a cup. Give them a cup,
Teaspoon? What juice? You talking about primetime football. There were more people in the studio right now than in that stadium last night. Ain't no prime time, no lights, no road issues to deal with. I'm not believing anything you say when you're trying to give them props, other than you know you're going to be in a fight if you play the Eagles.
You said this, Carson Wentz might be uncalculated, but I know someone who is uncalculated. How about Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks? Bucky, I've been waiting for this one, but Bucky, when you go to a baseball game, you have walk-up music. And Bucky Brooks, before you take the floor and you give us your biggest takeaway, I want to play Bucky Brooks's intro music. It's really just a Bucky Brooks intro take. Shall we? This is Bucky.
3 weeks ago, we're debating on what kind of suit Carson Wentz is, and right now we just completely taking him off the rack. He's on the clearance rack. We don't even care what he is because we're okay going 4-11-1. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
The mighty have fallen. Have they, Bucky Brooks? What was your takeaway from the Eagles win, sir?
My man.
It's awfully quiet.
Well, my takeaway is Carson Wentz certainly isn't your suit because he's still an off-the-rack special. In fact, the way that game was going, as you highlighted, and I love the way that you put that full screen on during the first section, so I couldn't see it, but I like the way you show those second and third quarters. He was really on that clearance rack, a discounted rate, because when we talk about a great quarterback, we talk about 9 straight drives. 50% completion rate, 55.9 passer rating, and you want to celebrate 2 drives where he goes 5 for 7, and he benefited from a ton of penalties by the New York Giants. But I don't want to talk about all of that. This is what I want to talk about because my eyes really treated me very well this week because I had a chance to see a handful of quarterbacks up close and in person. And so when I look at Carson Wentz, I hear the comparisons to Brett Favre and some of the other greats at the position, but I want to say this. I don't know if Carson Wentz is better than Josh Allen. When I look at Josh Allen play, Josh Allen does some of the same things that Carson Wentz does, but he gives me more. I'm looking at Josh Allen this year. Josh Allen is completing 67% of his throws. He has a touchdown to interception ratio of 16-4, passer rating of 108 in a passer's league. And then when I go back to your guy, the guy that you proclaimed to be an MVP candidate at one time, a guy who I saw supplanted by Nick Foles, who won a Super Bowl, a guy who I almost saw replaced by Jalen Hurts last night. I'm looking at his numbers, and he's at, below 60%, 58.6. He's only averaging 6 yards per pass. I mean, 10-10 touchdown to interception ratio, passer rating of 74.3. I don't know much, but I know that there are guys walking around the street with passer ratings that are as close to Carson Wentz's passer rating. And so when we talk about what we learned from him, I heard you cite a bunch of stats and, 350 yards. But yeah, when Dak Prescott threw for 450 yards, we talk about wins, not stats.
It's because they lost.
I never know what we want and what we're judging. But here's what I will say.
What will you say?
The Philadelphia Eagles have a problem at quarterback.
Yes.
And the reason they have a problem is because Doug Peterson has a call sheet, but he never knows when he sends in the call which Carson Wentz is going to show up. I heard my guy, my friend, Marcellus Wiley, so eloquently say, what I want is consistency. I just want to know that the guy that I'm getting, he may not be an A-level player, but be that B-level player all the time. But what I get from Carson Wentz from play to play, I get roses and I get doo-doo. And I just don't know if I want doo-doo or roses in my starting quarterback. So what is it? Because I can't keep texting you those poop emojis because I feel like it's disrespectful when I do that to you.
Are you done or are you finished?
Feel like, dude.
Bucky Brooks, here's the thing. I'm not surprised. In America, you shouldn't be either that Bucky Brooks and Marcellus are friends. What I learned at a very, very young age is that misery loves company.
This dude.
Oh, and both of y'all were miserable last night. Here's the other thing I learned. I was watching Bucky Brooks call it on Amazon, whatever the case, because I was watching both games, and Bucky, you did a phenomenal job. But here's the problem. Yesterday before the game, I went to get, I had to take an eye test because I got to update my license. So I was trying on different glasses, and I had them with my mask on. And when you talk with your mask on, your glasses fog up. I realized that's your issue. Bucky can't watch the games, Marcellus, because his glasses be fogging up. So Bucky can't tell the difference between who's out there and who's not out there. Bucky, let me clarify it for you, sir. Carson Wentz's last drive, he completed 3 phenomenal balls. They were to Richard Rodgers, a guy, a tight end, the third-string tight end, came into the game with 9 catches on the season. Then it was to a guy by the name of Boston Scott, came into the game with 6 catches on the season.
This dude.
Carson Wentz is out there making, now he's not even making lemonade out of lemons. He's making Arnold Palmer's out of lemons. See, I would go to restaurants and my mom in her sweet Nigerian accent would be like, "May I please get an Arnold Palmer?" See, I'm like, what? See, and I realized Carson Wentz is actually making Arnold Palmer's out of lemonade. Where's he coming up with the iced tea, Bucky Brooks? I don't know. But he's making such sweet, sweet, sweet magic with what he has.
Oh, I like that.
I love that, Acho. I'm assuming that you played multiple sports in high school.
Obviously.
Maybe you ran track. I hope that you played basketball.
Of course.
Did you play basketball?
Of course.
Okay, so what you saw from Carson Wentz out there is what we learned not to do in basketball. That's run to the corner and then throw these cross-court passes that are desperate to be picked off and run down the other way so someone can boom on us. If LeBron James was playing for the New York Giants last night, oh my gosh, how many breakaway finishes would he have had with Carson Wentz throwing these flying passes? But I digress. And we'll stay to the point because I am wondering about Philadelphia. And I'm wondering because people always give you a preview before they show you the main show. And I noticed that I saw number 2, that is Jalen Hurts, on the field a lot more in last night's game than I seen previously. I saw him taking snaps from under center. I saw him executing zone read things. I saw him on the field running fake reverses. And I'm wondering, I am beginning to wonder if Doug Peterson is like, maybe I need to warm little man up because at some point, he's going to have to get on the field and maybe take over with my quarterback struggling. I'm not saying that they're about to bench your guy, but I'm saying where there's smoke, there's fire. And the more reps that Jalen Hurts gets, the more comfortable he is going to be filling that seat that is occupied by number 11 currently.
Hey, Bucky, don't argue with a fool, because from a distance, people can't tell who is who.
Where the
We
fool
are
at?
arguing with a fool.
Where the fool?
Listen to his last night. I got his last night detailed now. What did you do last night? You watched the game and you watched the debate after going to get an eye test. So all of that in summation, this dude can't see, and then he only watched half of what he was trying to see. He doesn't understand what we're talking about, Bucky. We are fully invested as analysts into this craft. This dude is halving it, and then half of that half, making it a quarter. That said, why should we even talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, even if they win the division? Because they're going to have Carson Wentz, if he stays healthy, as the quarterback in the playoffs. Y'all want to hear Carson Wentz's resume in the playoffs? 1 completion, 3 yards. Carson Wentz is not leading these guys anywhere, even if he takes them on this ride.
Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth, Marcellus. That look
Watch your mouth, Marcellus.
And still cover up
Watch your mouth, Marcellus.
That they have. Coming up, Jimmy G is making his return to New England Sunday, a real quarterback. We'll tell you if the 49ers or Patriots like their quarterback situation better.